Fellers have told me that I do a pretty good job of explaining how electrical flow works on model train layouts. One of the things I want to do is jump into the 3-rail, the O-gauge realm out there, and show how these train-operated accessories, how they're wired up. This is a technology that Lionel come up with in like the late 30s, early 40s, but they could be a little bit of a handful. I've got all the train-activated accessories that's out there. Local Dave showed up. He's brought some of his train-activated accessories because I don't have them all. I'm going to show you guys how to wire these up. Good way, better ways, make them work. I'm Ron, Classic Model Trains. Stick along. I'll show you how it's done. I spent about 3 days building this little tiny layout here. I'm going to call this thing kind of like a folded Q-tip because of the way that it is. There's just 2 loops at each end. I don't have to mess around with making the train come back and forth or back it up. A lot of these are street activated signals. So I built myself a fake little street right here, and we're going to go through what Lionel offers on how these things are going to be automatically activated. First one we're going to do here is the Lionel. This is the 145, the Gateman. Also was sold as a 45, and the only difference between the 45 and the 145, other than about 20 years, is the fact that this guy does not have a lit up lantern in his hand anymore. And that's about it. Some color variations, blah, blah, blah. We are using the 145 automatic connector on it right here. This is what the directions tell us to do. I have got the wires coming off here, the accessory wires, and I've color coded them. All transformers will have a variable voltage output on them for the track, which works off of your throttle. And then there's fixed voltage. Right now we are tapped into 14 volt fixed. And what I've done is I've made some jumper wires here so that I can quickly plug stuff in and out just to show how they're wired up. These are just something that I built so that I can quickly connect the alligator clips to them, and they're color coded. This transformer puts out AC power. AC power is like the power that you have in your house, and DC power is like the power that you have on your automobile. AC power uses white as a neutral and black as a hot for their color coding, so that's what we're gonna do with this. If it was 12 volt, it would be red for positive and black for negative. So here we're using white as a neutral and black as a hot, because AC flows back and forth like this, where it goes up and then down and up and down, so it doesn't flow in a straight direction like DC. It jiggy-jaggies back and forth at 60 hertz a second. You can go online. Every one of these direction sheets that I pull out and show you guys is available online. Google it, 145 Gateman wiring schematic, and you're going to come up with something that looks like this. Now they took the picture and they took a picture of it backwards from the way that this looked. So I had to hold this way and I drew numbers on it. When I pull this in, we'll show you how it's doing what it's doing. I've pulled all the wires off this thing so I can show you how it's going to be wired up. This 145C right here is just an on-off pressure switch is all it is. I've hooked the DVM up to it, the digital voltmeter, and it's on horseshoe mode. So whenever I put pressure on the track, the switch closes. And this is adjustable by this little screw right here. You adjust it more or less in order to get more or less weight to activate this switch. The roofs on these things, of course, come off so you can get inside of them. And here's the schematic that we're following. So we're just going to do one wire at a time. And I've marked how I want to hook these wires up. This is to the transformer, black, and the white one we've got coming off. So I'm going to put the white one, and I'm going to put it on either side of this switch because it's just a simple on-off switch. And then it wants a jumper going from this, and it's going to go up all the way over here to the B side. Going up over to the B. So we did this wire, we've done this wire. Now the black wire, it's coming in, and it wants to be over to the C side. And this is going to be activating the light. I don't know if you guys can see this. There it is. So we've got power to the light. So that's our lighting control. And we want to put our trigger wire in which is coming out this other side over here, and it's going to go to A. So I'm going to use this yellow wire here, and we're going to slip it over to the A. Now that we've got this all wired up, you can see that when the train rolls across it, it's going to activate it. Can you believe it? I ran over my own wires. Unbelievable. How about the disappointment there?
Oh, well, you know.
So here's how these switches work. You see that they're done by pressure. And if this is incorrectly adjusted, where I'm loosening it, that means just the weight of the track is on it and it's creating havoc. So you can bring it down, tightening the screw, and this will make it less sensitive. But if you make it too tight, then of course your locomotive might not weigh enough to trip it. So you got to put this in the sweet spot for the train to roll by. Now it only took, well, once this is all edited down, this shot right here will only be like 2 minutes. But it took Dave and me like half an hour to wire it up, because it's the first time I've wired up an accessory. I've owned these things for a long time and have never wired up these train activated accessories. Sure, I've done the ones where you just put juice to them and they do what they're supposed to do, but I didn't even know I had these activators. Look how much more smaller Dave is compared to me. We're like Gandalf and...
He's making me stand in a hole, so he looks bigger.
And
that's
then
what's really happening.
The little guys from Lords of the Rings or something like that. Forced perspective.
Right. Yeah, when it comes to wiring, though, I'd rather eat an earwax sandwich.
Okay. So, you're not very happy with wiring. So now we're gonna try something a little different here. It's called an insulated track section. You can see that these orange little things that are in there, this outside rail is insulated from the rest of the rails. A standard Lionel or 3-rail stuff, there's continuity between both outside rails. Well, this one over here, the outside rails are isolated from each other, as well as being isolated from the inside rail. So we're going to slip this rail in and show you how this whole thing works without using one of these little fellers right here. It's supposed to be better. So going off this diagram right here, we're just going to simply use a lock-on in here. This rail is isolated from this rail. But what it's going to do is it's going to jumper the common over to this rail once the wheels cross the track. So we're hooked up the same over here. Transformer hot, transformer neutral. And it's super important that you see that the pin over here on this one, on number 2, is also, it goes to the ground bus over here. And you gotta have this white wire on your connector on the exact same one, or it won't work. It won't work. No, it puts out like 6 volts and barely does, because it took us half an hour to figure that out. And when you get 2 guys trying to diagnose an electrical problem, it's never a pretty sign.
I'd rather shave a feral cat than wiring.
Let me show you how this works. So we know this track is isolated from this one. We come along over here, and as soon as we cross onto this, oh, I forgot to mention, there's an isolation pin right here, and there's an isolation pin right here, which is making this one completely isolated. And then when you come across, look at that. Interesting. And then it'll stay on the whole time until it goes away. No switches, no pressure, nothing. Unbelievable, I love it. What?
Don't forget your isolation pins.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh, okay.
So,
just wanted to make sure they didn't forget.
Well, you were just right there.
I wasn't paying attention.
Gateman connected with insulated track section looks like this. Nice. I love it. Dave's got that fancy Google lens over here, which turned out that it's a what?
1936 Lionel pre-war. Clicky ringy belly thingy. Warning bell and shack.
No guys inside this one. I guess that was too much to do. This is our hot wire coming off, and then I've not changed any of the wiring. This is still the insulated piece. on number 2, so it's picking up the juice right there. No neutrals hooked up to this. It's coming through here. Love it. That is just the simplest. Loving it.
Lionel, between 1954 and 1966, produced this Banjo, or Wigwag, crossing gate. We're going to show you how to hook this up with a 145C activator and see what this does.
So going back to our wiring here, looks like the A wire, or the power wire, coming off the transformer, the black one, is going to go into the activator right over here. Comes out the other side, and it's going into the base under here. This one here, I broke off the other one, that would be the common or ground wire, so I put a bolt in it to activate it. So now this one is set up where the train runs across the track. Just the simple weight of it will make it do its thing. This one can also be hooked up to use it with the insulated track section. Uses a lot less wires. I'll show you how to do that one. So we have just the hot wire, the black wire coming off of our constant voltage. This one comes around to the number 2 on the CTC clip. And then as soon as this is on there, that causes it to go. Because it's picking up the juice from the white wire over there because of the neutral bar, the way they are on the transformer. Hey, check these things out right here. Dave found these on the marketplace just a couple days ago. Huge set of them. What is there? 8, 9, 7?
No. Only 5. Nice weight to them, so very realistic though.
I was hoping to get Dave to tell the story about how he got them. They've been on marketplace for a while, and he's been eyeballing them for a while. Then he brings them up to me, and I'm like, hey, those are nice. And then the very next day, he's like, oh, I went ahead and bought them.
Well,
because he didn't want me to reach in and snag them.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to come over here and run them away.
They are nice. Those cars must weigh a pound apiece. Holy moly. That's why they're making the activator work so well. If you got some really light, cheap cars, you know, entry-level Lionel stuff, that spring-loaded activator would be a hassle to adjust. So it'd be a lot better to use that insulated track section way of tripping these things than that. So we're going through our journey of railroad signals being activated. I think our next one is going to be the red lights that blink back and forth, the road sign. So we'll show you guys how to wire those up. We're going to hook up this Lionel, the old 154 crossing signals right here. These were made from 1945 to 1969, the entire post-war production. Here on the bottom, you can see that there's 2 wires. Then there's the brown wire that's going to the ground or the neutral. So that'll help us in wiring this up. There's 2 circuits in here. 1 circuit for this bulb, 1 circuit for this bulb. And the way that this is hooked up is by using this 154C connector. These right here are the switches that's going to activate this. And this has got to be done by the rail. Here's what the instructions to this one here looks like. I found all these by using a Google search. Dig around, type in number 154 crossing signal, wiring schematics. It's got 1, 2, 3. And then the base of this thing is also marked 1, 2, 3 on it. So you just 1, 2, 3. And this is where the juice is coming in from. And then this is pretty much connected to this. And 3 is pretty much connected to this. So this is what it's going to look like, and it uses track power to make the lights do the blinky. So the voltage is turned down low on the transformer because I don't want the train to be doing 900 miles an hour. They don't get real bright. Let me do this with the light off. Realism at its finest. Still kind of dim though.
Just a question, because I don't know. Would it work better if you wired it directly to the transformer?
Why, yes, Dave. It would work a lot better if it was wired up to the transformer. We will do that right now, and I will show you the differences.
This is why I don't like wiring. I rather gargle bowling balls.
We're gonna take our hot wire from the 14 volts off the transformer, and we're gonna put it in the number 1 slot right here. We had to pop out that piece of insulated track that was right there. So now we're back to the normal track, but the lights are quite a bit brighter now because we're getting 14 full volts. And I painted these myself with some spray paint because I didn't have wood runs around, and it looks like I hit one a little heavier than the other one. This is with straight 14 volts going to it, and it will work the exact same way. Not super realistic, but this is the best that we have available to us from 1945 to 1969. Because the way that thing works, you can't hook it up with the insulated track section trick. They might have some new stuff out for it now. I'm not familiar with it. We're just doing the old school stuff right now, and that's just kind of what it's going to look like. I didn't know how to wire these things up at all. So this has all been research. I spent about 2 to 3 days setting up the layout and then researching the things and how do they work, and then figuring out how they work and then fixing them, because none of these little accessory things, they didn't even work. Bulbs were burned out, wires weren't on there, just, oh, the work. This was one of the longer prep to do the video than some of the other ones out there. We're a few days before the New Year's. Christmas just took place. If you didn't get your 33%er cup from Santa Claus under the tree, you can still order them. They're always available. Just email me at classicmodeltrains@aol.com. Leave your phone number, because I got to call you, because we got to get the address, shipping address. Got to get payment information from you. We got to say what you want printed on the bottom of the cup. These are the only cups that you actually have to talk to me to get. I've got other cups that are available. They're on my eBay store out there, and I keep making different designs, keep coming up with different ideas for the cups, because there's not enough train swag out there, is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to represent the t-shirt and coffee mug model train people, because they just don't have, they're not being represented enough, is kind of what I'm thinking. About halfway through the video right now is an excellent time to do another edition of Classic Model Trains Classic Model of the Week. Do you guys know who this is? If you do, type it in the comments down below. If you don't, wait until the end of the video. I'll let you know who it is. Let's get back into wiring up these things. Now we're going to go to the crossing arms. Kind of a neat little thing right here. Hey Dave, you want to wire this one up?
I'd rather tattoo my eyeballs than do wiring.
Underneath here, they've got 2 places to hook some wires up to. I'm not going to be able to get my alligator clips all the way underneath there, so we're just going to have to do it like this. We're going to take our neutral and put it to 1 wire off the transformer. Our black, we're going to come around and put it to one side of this 145C activator. We're going to come off the other side of the activator, and we're going to come to the other wire. So this is making our on-off loop. So when you push down on the track, this is going to come down. And my wire's in the way down below there, and that's why it won't open up all the way. That plunger right there, the wire gets in the way of it. I got to route that out a little better. There. So these aren't coming up all the way. It's because of the plunger. But every time I've ever seen these, there's got to be 2 of them on each side. So I've got this guy over here. Let me wire him in real quick and show you how you'd wire up 2 on each side of the track. Here's what it's looking like when it's got 2 of them wired up. And really all I did is, there's 2 more wires coming out of this one. Doesn't matter which one is what. The yellow wire is coming over here, and it's coming out of the trip, the on-off switch. And then the white wire is just, they're both teamed up right here for the neutral off the transformer. Either wire will do either thing because the way the AC works, and there's just an electromagnet inside of these to make them do what they're supposed to be doing. This is what the wiring schematic would look like for this. It's just simply neutral and then hot going through the switch up to there. That's it. Now this one's working really well because we've got some heavy cars going across it. If you had lighter cars or a longer train, that pressure switch might not keep the gates down for you the entire direction. So what you're going to do is put in an insulated track section, and then of course it would work like it's supposed to for that. I'll just show you real quick how that would be wired up. We've eliminated the white neutral off the transformer. It's just back over here doing its thing. Our hot wire black, if we were doing just a single one, it would go to a single wire, just one side of the solenoid. The other wire would just simply go to the number 2 terminal of this ETC clip. And that's what makes this thing do its thing when this is going on. To make the other one work, I just took a yellow wire. It goes to the same side. This one here, it's going to pick up the hot from the transformer. So now it's just 2 of them hooked together in series, so they both do what they're supposed to do. I do believe we got one more train activated accessory to hook up that's available, and it's this thing right here. And it can be hooked up both ways as well, with the 145C activator or with the insulated track section. Here's the schematics. Hey Dave, you want to try to wire this one up right now?
I'd rather unplug a toilet without a plunger than do wiring.
You're gonna have to learn. You have to learn how to do it sometime. So our switch tower here, I've got it all wired up, doing what it's supposed to do. I'm missing the guy that's supposed to be right there on the front of that door. But I got the side guy, but I'm missing the roof shed, and this is kind of a silly operating accessory as it is. I found that the directions were a little on the difficult side to read. So I did this right here, numbered 1, 3, and 2. There's numbers cast into it. I just made these a little bit easier so we can see them on the camera. And then I drew how I'm going to wire it up right here. So our number 1 terminal is our hot coming off the transformer straight through all the way to it. The white wire stops off here to power up one side of our pressure switch. Then it jumpers through and goes to number 3, and this is powering up, well, it does our light for one, but yeah. So that's just light power. And if a guy wanted to take his lights and be able to turn them on and off, you'd put a switch in, but you know, well, you just switch it wherever you wanted to. And then the yellow wire is on the other side of the trip. So when the weight is on, it activates this one up here, number 2. So that right there is how it would be wired up, or how I've got it wired up. Let's throw a train on it. What I've showed you already has been railroad signals that are used to protect people, not railroad people. Well, except for the switch tower, which, you know, activates the same way, so it was in the same group. These ones here are going to be railroad signals. The semaphore, the block signal, and a signal bridge. This here is the Lionel 151 semaphore. These were made from 1947 to 1969. This is an old school one. Now, I wired it up, but I wanted to wire it up in a position that it would make more sense to how it's supposed to work. Now, if your locomotive is coming down this track, your signals are going to be on the right side of the track because the locomotive is going this way because the engineer's sitting on this side and he needs to see that. Let me turn this light off here. You can see that this light is green right there. It's illuminated. With the green light and this thing sticking straight up for daytime visualization, this is telling you that the track ahead is clear. It's like a block signal. What's going on up in front of you? Because you can see the engineer can't see this way or this way of really what's going on. I put the contactor over here and its weight, you can hear the Semaphore moving up and down when I push up and down on this. So I'm going to back this train here up. So it's actually, there's a train up ahead. And now you can see that the semaphore is showing the red light, telling the engineer that up ahead, stop, there's something up there. So right here is how I wired this thing up. Here's our 145C contactor. And then once again, you can see we've got something passing juice through it. I'm using the black wire from the transformer to come up to the first contact. And the only reason I did that is so I could keep everything color-coded. So here's my black wire, and it's coming up over here. It comes out of this thing down there, so I have long ones. It's delivering the juice to one side of this switch, and then it's going backwards over here to the end, the one on the left, and you can see it on this picture here. It's all the way over here, providing a power source coming into it. You see how the one in the center is a neutral, and right and left are providing juice. Now, the black wire is ultimately giving power to this green light right here, but we've also got the white wire hooked up to it, so it makes a complete circuit. If I disconnect the white wire, we're going to lose our light. And if I disconnect the black wire, we're going to lose our light. Center post is the common, and that's going right back over to the common of our transformer here. All the red wire is doing is illuminating the relay in the bottom of this thing and then making this go down. The light bulb glows all the time. It's always lit underneath there. So when this contact closes from the weight, it sends the electricity across this switch, puts juice right on this post, energizes the electromagnet inside here, and the coil closes and flips that arm. Simplest, easiest way to do this. The next one on our list is the block signal. Operates basically like a Semaphore. Let you know that there's something up ahead. Green, go, red, stop. But this time we've used a different contactor. First time we've pulled out the 153C. A little bit different on this one. Basically what it is it's got two switches inside of it. It's got 3 points. And when the weight is down, it's closing points here. And when the weight is up, it's closing points down here. So when I push on this, because there'd be like the weight of the train, you can see the light up there is changing. So we've actually got two completely different circuits that are being energized, fully on, fully off. So that's why they're using the 153 to control this. Now when there's no weight on the track, the green light is on. What it's boiling down to is we've got the common coming from the transformer. It's in the center because the way that this is, the center is the neutral, and our white one is just simply going to our transformer. Now our hot is coming over here and is providing power to this. So when the switch is up, the power is going to the green. And when the switch is depressed, the power is going to just the red. So simply enough, the red and the green, the wires, they come around over here, red, green. That is what's giving us this block signal the way it's wired up. This piece of paper, I found it online by a Google search. This is the schematic for how these things are wired up. Hey Dave, you want to wire this signal bridge up?
I'd rather wear pork chop underwears and a lion den than do wiring.
You guys know Dave ain't here, don't you? Yeah. We're in day 5 of production right now. Dave was here day 3, and we ran out of time, so we just recorded a bunch of extra stuff. Dave put together a list of things he'd rather be doing other than doing electrical on a layout. But let me show you how I wired this thing up. This Lionel 450 signal bridge is available from 1952 to 1958. On the bottom down here, you've got the individual circuit controls for each set of lights up above. So the one down at the bottom is going to be your common. So you can plug in your white down there. And then these two here are going to be what switches for your bulb. So there's the red circuit. I go to the other side over here and touch it. And there's our green circuit. Let me see if I can wire this up a little quick here, make something kind of cool looking with it. So this one is using the 153C connector, which looks like this. Here is the schematic on how they want it wired up. You're gonna have your one common coming in, then you've got your red and your green light coming out like that. One side's wired up. Here is the hot coming in from the transformer, switching between red and green depending upon the weight that's on the track. The white wire right here is the common wire going over there. So all I did was I jumpered it across. So we got common wire going in over here. There's a red and green wire coming out of this side. And then it's going to its own 153C contactor. So when I push weight on this one, those are a little dirty. So that's what we got going on there. This one's missing this lens that goes over the top of this one. Something to scare up. The wires, of course, look nasty, but if you break it down one wire at a time and just figure out where one wire is running to, what is it doing, you can work your way through this. And that's how to go about wiring up all these Lionel accessories. Of course, it'll look a lot better once the holes are drilled through the layout and you run the wires underneath and you can solder the wires to the side of the track. on some of these accessories. Gives you something to think about, how to go about getting ready to wire them up. That's what I want to do. One step closer to designing the new O-gauge layout that might happen as soon as I can get everything back together in my life and back on track, because I keep breaking down. I'm behind, I'm like a year behind schedule because I keep breaking down. Last Monday we did a live show. Fantastic results on this live show. A lot of people hung out with us for an hour and 45 minutes. And we had some great people that showed up, chatted along. One thing I want to throw out here with our memberships that's going on out there. We had two guys, Wayne, well, the username Wayne Weatherwax84 and Blue Dog 1840. I didn't even know you could do this, but somehow they bought 20 memberships as gifts, and then we acquired 40 new members just in the time span of that thing. It was it was great. It was great. A lot of guys were giving super thanks because it was Christmas time and stuff like that. I wasn't able to go through and find out all the names of the guys that gave super thanks. I thanked them right there and then when it took place. We went from having 78 channel members up to 122 channel members within 2 hours on that day. So that worked out really great. Thank you guys out there. We're now we're pushing 122 channel members. We got 25,000 subscribers out there. This just happened a few days ago also. It's just, this has been a really, really good December so far. Our classic model of the week, Linda Hamilton. We know her best from the Terminator franchise out there. Yeah. Thank you for all your support. The 33%ers out there, they're the ones that watch the channel from the beginning to the end, all the way through it. And of course, all of our memberships that are out there, helping to support that $1 club layout that we haven't seen for a while, but I promise you it's still around. A lot of this information that I grabbed up in this video, the pictures and stuff, I dug them up off of tandemassociates.com. I've been using that website for the whole time I've been doing this channel with any O-gauge research. And there's also a site called clintjeffries.com that's got a ton of pre-war, post-war, all makes, all models, O-gauge, S-gauge. I'm going to put the complete link to those two sites down below in the description section. That's where all the information's at on these things. If you guys ever wanted to know more about it, get on a computer and then click more underneath of it. It'll tell you the description. You can scroll through there. You can see all the tools that I use that I recommend that you can get. These are with a Amazon Associates link. Click on those. They take you right to Amazon. If you decide to buy one, it doesn't cost you any more. They throw me back like 6%, 4%. Depends on what it is. We had Local Dave come up with a list. You've seen a little bit of in there of things that he'd rather do besides wiring, because a lot of guys don't like doing wiring. We had him make a huge list. We used just a few of them in the video. I'm going to let his list play off right now at the end here while we scroll up all of our channel members. Thanks for stopping in. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Oh, things I rather do than wiring, you know, like eat my vegetables, wear a barbed wire shirt, walk on a Lego floor, squeeze an angry hippo into a Kia, use sandpaper for toilet paper, bathe with snapping turtles, shave my face with some mace in the dark, use a cheese grater to remove skin tags, roller skate on gravel, chew someone else's gum that's been dropped on a floor covered in glass and hair. Paul. I think that's all I got here.
Very, and you just come up with those just on your own.
Yeah.